This is yet another weekly review video to just recap what you've gone through this week and what you learned in addition to going through this website. So this week, I think we spent about maybe most of the week in on studying numbers from 11 to 30. We took the basic quiz, the mini test, and maybe 1 or 2 days we spent on probably taking the basic quiz and mini test for days of the week. Um, so in addition to that, I've been reading the news in Spanish. So we have uh, CNN in Espanol. So I think the objective is to build your vocabulary, right? Because the more words you learn, I mean, the better you can read and maybe even listen, right? Because you're familiar with the words, you know how it sounds. Um, so, for instance, let's pick an article. Okay, this seems to be interesting. Let's click on this. And a good thing about the site is it also has a video. So video audio presentation. So you can also listen if you want to. All right. So it says, ¿Cómo sería la vista si viajaras Júpiter en una nave espacial? So it's saying how, ¿cómo means how. Let's try to decipher the meaning, right? So, ¿cómo sería? ¿Cómo sería la vista? La vista means the view, right? Vista is view. La vista, the view. Si viajaras a Júpiter is also the planet Jupiter, in one nave espacial. Alright, so don't know, not pretty sure of the remaining part of the sentence, but let's see if we can get this over on Google Translate. So Spanish. Okay. Alright, so what would the view be like if you traveled to Jupiter in a spaceship? So the view, we got it, right? And como is not, in this case it's what? Okay, so what, como sería? La vista viajaras, viajaras I think is space, okay, let's just see. Let's bring it back. Okay, viharas. Okay, viharas is travel. Viharas, you'll travel. Um,
Viajarás. Viajarás.
Viajaras. Okay. Una. Okay, what is nave? Ship. Space. Ship. Okay. Okay, makes sense. So nave is ship. Espac.
Nave espacial.
Nave espacial. Okay, so espacial is space. Nave is ship. So it makes sense that it's spaceship, a spacecraft. What is seria? Let's see.
Sería.
Seria is word. Okay, so como is how. Yesterday saw this now, but I think in the in terms of the sentence, once you put it together, it becomes what. So, como sería? Sería is would. La vista, we know, is the view. Viajarás is about travel. You would travel in one nave. Nave is ship. Espacial is space ship. All right. So we've learned something. So that's what is good about it, right? So uh, and okay, let's check this out. Okay, before we so mira is look or see. Coma should be how. Look how se vería sobre volar. You know what is sobre? Sobre, if it's just sobre, it means about. Sobre volar, I'm not sure what is sobre volar. Jupiter, con is with. Esta animación, I think could be animation de la NASA. NASA animation NASA. Let's see what it is. See what it would look like to fly over Jupiter. See what? Okay. Look like to fly over Jupiter with the animation, correct? So from NASA. So what is sobrevolar? Okay, let's see what is veria.
Vería.
Would see. Okay. And then what is sobrevolar?
Sobrevolar.
Overfly. Okay, fly over. Alright. Think then we can look how you fly over Jupiter with animation. They fly over Jupiter. So alright, so you get the idea, right? So think about, how I mean in terms of what is the meaning of the headline, then you can start reading articles, because start reading the subject or articles, because that is more they use more complex words and sentences. So I would recommend starting with headlines and then moving on later to the uh, the body or the description of the article. So this is one of the sites. Then we have, if people are interested in sports, we have ESPN Deportes. The link to this will be in the description. So this is a news site which have been uh, looking at. I started looking at this site earlier this week, and yeah, it's good for people who are interested in sports, right? So um, all right, let's look at this. So Swiatek Golf Promesa should be promises to be the final apasionate apasionante. Um, Not sure what is in. N means in Roland Garros. So let's see what it means. Promise of an exciting final. Okay. Um, what is pas thrilling?
Apasionante. Apasionante.
All right. So that's what I've been going through this week, right? I mean, in terms of building vocabulary, like reading the news in Spanish, immersing yourself in Spanish, and I recommend making a list of words, new words that you learn, making a target of how many words you want to learn in a day or in a week, for that matter, whatever works for you, and then keep building on that. And then once you keep reading news regularly, you might encounter similar words or words that you've seen before, and that improves or builds on what you've learned, right? It reinforces what you've learned. So that's a good way to build one's vocabulary. So in the next video, we'll be taking an oral exercise for the numbers, right? So until then, see you next time.